Just want to thank everybody for attending today's webinar about pickup and delivery Liftoff. Today's webinar is focused on two different things, which is one, we've got a whole bunch of new features coming out real soon, and we want to show you how to take advantage of those features to make more money. And then also the main reason you're here as well is how to grow your web presence, how to get your pickup and delivery to take off. It has to do with your web presence. So we'll be focusing on that for the second half.
The first half of this webinar about how to make more money using the new Curbside Laundries software features, it's going to be made public for everybody. However, the second half, which is all about increasing your web presence so that more customers could find you online, that's going to be available just for Curbside clients only.
What's really exciting is we have 121 registered people for the webinar. When I first started doing this about 5 years ago, I did a webinar open to everybody and we had about 20 people. It's just pretty amazing that we've got 121 clients who are on here. We're all in it together with pickup and delivery and wash and fold, and just try to make it the most successful businesses we can help out with. Just wanted to start off with, I just got this email yesterday from a friend who's doing wash and fold and pickup and delivery, and he's got a very successful business. And he sent me an email saying, I do Google searches from time to time, and I saw a new place come up on the ranks. It looks like definitely one of yours. I definitely see them increasing their ranking on Google and doing good on reviews. I didn't know you had any curbsides around. The reason why I want to start off with this is there's a mystique around the Curbside Laundries clients and people who are using Curbside Laundry software. And I think it's because it's the reason why we're all here together on the webinar today. We're not sitting on our laurels. We're constantly saying, how do we do better? That's commonality. And things are constantly changing in the online realm. Things are getting more competitive, and you always have to do more to stay ahead of your competition. And that's what we're going to be sharing today, is how to get ahead of the competition. That's something that makes Curbside. I went in and I saw this particular person who they were talking about, and sure enough, their numbers were off the charts. Their pickup and delivery and their wash and fold had grown significantly since the year before. The reason I mention that is a direct result of the web presence. Your web presence has a strong correlation, if not causation, of how well you're doing. It is just so important. And it is important to do what this person did as well, which is do searches on yourself, incognito. And we'll be going over that because that is really important to kind of measure where you're at, what you're ranking for, and where you're ranking. That's a big part. We do have a new software release tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, February 14th. It's a big change. We're updating the UI. We're updating the back end so things will be faster. There's going to be less steps involved to place orders. It's going to a lot of new features. And so we'll be sending out some videos on that as well. That's coming out real soon. And then you'll start seeing more regular updates as well, just because we hit a point where we couldn't develop on the old. We had to just keep developing on the new. So this is the new. This is going to free things up. So then we're able to release things a lot faster versus software just looks a lot more beautiful, easier to use, more intuitive. We're really excited about that. The new software does bring about some new features that I want to go over so you can kind of keep it in your mind on how to take advantage of some of the new features. One of them is you're going to be able to charge a delivery fee or a fuel surcharge fee. You could name it whatever you want to name it. That is per pickup. We're charging at Supersets. You could see it highlighted on the screen, $2.50 delivery fee. We figured we're not going to lose any customers over a $2.50 fee. I would do somewhere between a couple bucks to $4.50. I'd make it low enough where you're not going to lose any customers over it. But what I like about the delivery fee, I think it's good to get in there because then if you ever need to crank it up a little bit, you're not introducing a brand new charge. So if you introduce a brand new charge, I would keep it low. So that way people don't use that opportunity to say, hey, maybe I don't want to do that anymore. That's how I would introduce it. And then later on, if fuel prices spike or whatever it is, you now have a tool in place that you could easily adjust. And you could charge a different delivery fee or fuel surcharge based upon the service area. So you could charge different areas different amounts. And you could see down below, that's actually a report from our laundromat Supersuds. And keep in mind, we didn't start this on January 1st, so this is really just like 2 weeks of data. And we collected about $800 extra just by charging an extra $2.50. So, the money's out there. We didn't lose any customers. We got an extra $800 just by doing a little data entry, and it's automatic. So that's great. The second thing, I'm going to go ahead and open up a poll, which is Do you do any welcome packages for new customers? Yes or no? It could even be a card. Do you do anything special for new customers on pickup and delivery? So the results are coming in, and I'm going to go ahead and close the poll, and we've got 73% of people voted. Here are the results. 1/4 of you do, and 75% don't. We're also in the 75% categories. Now, this is really important, and this is a underutilized feature. One issue with their software previously was it told you it was a first-time customer when you're doing the pickup. Well, that's not as useful as on the delivery. Because if you're doing a welcome package, you really want to know that it's a first-time customer when you're doing the delivery. Now you can see in the top right corner, that's what your driver is going to see in the new software update. It'll tell you right there it's a first-time customer. And I would get prepared, both if you're doing a delivery fee or fuel surcharge, how you want to do the messaging on that. Going back one slide, just to let you know, they will see the $2.50 fuel surcharge right there when they place an order. That's what it'll look like to the customer. But your reoccurring customers may not see that. So maybe you send a message or an email or something to your reoccurring customers, and just your other customers will see it. But I think it's better not to surprise them. Sending out a mass email for something like that, I think, is the way to go. Now back to the first-time package. 25% of you, 1/4 of you do send out a welcome package, and I think it's a great idea, and really it should be 100% of us that do it. And the reason being is there's the biggest drop-off rate between somebody placing an order and not placing their next order is after the first time. If you know a ton of your customers, we get like 100 some new customers per month, but a lot of them do not order again. It's one of the biggest opportunities. If you are getting new business, you want to retain that business. You want to close that gap. And right now there's a big gap, there always will be, between ordering once and ordering again. How do you close the gap? Well, a welcome package could be really nice. Some people go pretty extravagant and provide a free laundry bag. That's one way of going, but that's pretty pricey, $5. But then again, it gets your branding out there. One thing we're doing is we're doing these magnets. That's the magnet that you see on the bottom. We just ordered those from Next Day Flyers. So it's nextdayflyers.com. Business size. It's got the QR code on there. Number one reasons why somebody doesn't place an order from you again is they forgot about you. So how do you keep people from forgetting about you? Magnet on the refrigerator. It's got the QR code, so it's functional. They could scan to schedule a laundry pickup. And guess how much that cost? Each magnet is 14 cents. The local sign company by us, they wanted to charge us $1. And so we went to Next Day Flyers, and for 14 cents, that's a pretty good deal. In addition, you want to have some card stock, give them a really sweet promotion to order a second time. Also, if you have ozone or you're doing something special, or just, how you care about your customers, put your mission statement in there. Something about how you value and how you care about your clients. Tell them about yourself. That's something we should all be doing. Right over here, this is a new feature. This will be slight premium to get it installed on the software. It's a return on advertising spend. I spent quite a bit of time developing this, but it's awesome. Let me open up a new poll. What types of advertising have you done in the last 12 months? And you could check as many of them as you want. Google AdWords, Facebook ads, Yelp, cold calling, door knocking. That in the pounding the pavement section. Direct mail or mailers, that would include eval packs, all that stuff. We got the results coming in. About 60% of people voted. We've got 71% of people doing Google AdWords. That's great to see. That number surprises me because I didn't think as many people did it. It works. Google advertising works. With your business taking off, there's really two main ways of getting customers in terms of web presence. In my opinion, it's Google AdWords and organic, meaning your website just ranks. And that's a lot of what we'll be focusing on in this presentation. We've had very positive success on Google AdWords. I'll go more into detail on that. 64% of people are doing Facebook ads. From my experience, and I could be totally wrong here, but this is just what I've seen, is Facebook ads are great for awareness. So you're going to get a lot of looky-loos. I mean, how many times have you clicked on a Facebook ad? Oh, that looks interesting. And how many times have you actually bought something off of Facebook? And that number is a lot lower. And the reason being is they're more shock value. It's like, oh, that's an interesting thing for sale. Let me click on it. You weren't even in the mood for that before. So that's an awareness ad. It's just letting people become aware that laundry pickup and delivery is a thing. They weren't really looking for it. With Google AdWords, the reason why it works so well is because they're looking for wash and fold. They're looking for laundry pickup and delivery. You pay money and your link appears in front of them. So you're not convincing them of anything. I ran for city council and this one campaign consultant said you could convince somebody to vote or you could convince somebody to vote for you, but you can't do both. And I feel that way with advertising. To get the best return on investment, we're not selling people. We're just, if they're looking for us, we want them to find us. So for that reason, Facebook ads are going to drive a lot of traffic, but the common thing I hear is, I got all this traffic, but nobody bought. Well, that's the reason. Okay, 22% are advertising on Yelp. Yelp was our first time we had a positive return on spend because it was online. And think about it, Yelp, they don't just see your ad. That in a way is a little bit like Google AdWords. They're looking for laundromats. They're looking for laundry services. But when we used a very good Google ad marketing company, we found we got a much, much higher return on investment when we did Google AdWords than Yelp. So if you have a really good marketing company, I would take that Yelp money and put it into Google AdWords money. But don't tell Yelp. The other part is 27% cold calling and door knocking. I've talked to a lot of people doing that, and with mixed results. More folks it doesn't work for. Some people it does work for. Mailers, we tried that. We didn't get very good results at all. I would just save your money on mailers and put it into Google AdWords. In fact, I'd put everything you see in here, I'd put it into Google AdWords. If you're going to be spending any money or time or energy, that's what I would do. Speaking of Google AdWords, let's go ahead and open up another poll. This is optional, so you don't have to if you don't feel comfortable. It is private. How much are you spending on Google AdWords? So if you are doing it, and we do not do Google AdWords, I'm just curious. We have about 60% of people voted. About 1/3 is at zero. And again, I would have thought that number is higher because there is a barrier of entry to do Google AdWords. Then we have the people at $1 to $500. Now, those are probably people doing it on their own. And the reason I say that is usually when you hire a company, they do a Google Ads management fee. What I mean by that is they're going to charge $350 or $500 or $700 or whatever it is just to manage your Google AdWords. And then whatever additional you spend actually goes to Google. So you get a much higher return on investment with Google AdWords when you spend more money, because then a percentage-wise, less money is going to your management company and more is going to Google. But if you don't know how you're spending the money or the marketing company isn't doing a great job, then it's really hard to know what your return on investment is. And look, about 10% of our clients are spending over $1,000 or over $1,800. And so that is some serious money. And everybody has one thing in common when they're doing Google AdWords. A lot of people say, yes, it works, but then they have no idea how well it works. You get these reports back from the marketing company and they say, oh yeah, you got a 12% increase to your CTR ratio. And it's like, well, what does that mean? We knew people are spending big money on this, but then the issue is you need to know if you're spending that kind of money, what type of return on investment you're getting. We have a client who's making hundreds of thousands. He's just doing phenomenal, 6 figures per month. And he's spending $4,000 or $5,000 on Google AdWords. He was talking about stopping. I'm like, you can't stop. You're doing so well. And he goes, why? I have no idea what my return is. We built this return on advertising spend report to answer that question. How much money are we making? And so you could see over here, February, this is real data for suds. This is how much money we spent on Google AdWords, $3,800. And we made $11,000 of sales from that. We got 17 new customers. The re-engage means they previously clicked on an ad and they clicked on one again. We'll have a more in-depth thing on this just because I need to get moving. On this report, you could even say, show me 1 month of data. How much money did we make back? How many sales do we make during the first month? Yeah, let me actually show you over at SuperSuds. So one moment. It just makes more sense when you see the data live. So I'm going to go into the return on advertising spend. So this is the report right over here. I'm going to do 2022, December, and okay, perfect. And I'm going to do 1 month search. So in 1 month, we actually lost money. Let me make the screen bigger. We did get 21 new customers, or actually 21 sales, 17 new customers, And I could even see the names of all these customers we got and how many orders they placed. But we lost money, so why would we spend almost $4,000 on Google Ads? Well, here's the reason. That was just 1 month of data, meaning those customers spent $2,000 in 1 month. But how much did those same 17 customers spend over the course of 1 year? So now those same 17 customers over the course of 1 year have spent over $11,000. So we turned that $3,800 into $11,000. It's pretty incredible. So that's what this report does. And it'll even show you the names and the orders, and you can see whether or not your advertising is working. And considering 70% of you are doing Google advertising, this will help you know down to the penny which campaigns are working, which ones aren't, and what your return on advertising is. The other part is this webinar, I guess now the second half of this webinar, is focused on what's going on in your website and how that's reflected online.